Hey, what's up, guys? I am Joe from Workbench, and today we're going to look at a sweet new plugin from Chris Vranos called Lockdown. Hey, check out the new shirt.
Huh?
What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay. So this tutorial is going to be a little bit different. We're taking a look at a very interesting new plugin from Chris Vranos. I got in contact with him to get a copy of it so I could review it because it looked really amazing and I wanted to see how good it was. So before we get started, I have a couple of things to note. One, Chris didn't ask me to do this. He didn't pay me to do this, and he didn't tell me what to say. I basically asked him for a review copy, which he sent me, just so I could see how awesome Lockdown is, and I was pleasantly surprised. And we're kind of torture testing it today. And since it's a process, we're going to run through it from the beginning. One thing I have noticed is that it is easier to work with if you get your tracking stable and locked the way you want it before you apply it, because otherwise you have these like nested comps and you have to like deal with that. And I don't really think there's a way around that could be programmed, so I'm not faulting the plugin for that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go on here and we're going to apply Lockdown. So you see it says follow steps 1 through 9 in order. Find first step in Lockdown script window lockdown.jsxbin. So we're going to go here and open that up. So the first step, pre-compose. Click that, it does it. So then we're going to click this thing and we're going to use this tracking filter. One thing to note is that when you go to pre-compose this thing, you need to turn all this stuff off. Kind of wish there was a button for that, but again, I'm not really entirely sure that that's possible to do. So just remember that so you don't have to go and turn it off in a bunch of different places. All right, so the next step in the panel is 9. So we're going to go find step 3 in the lockdown effect. So let's scroll down and make sure that we have the lockdown effect selected to actually add any points. Because if you don't have this selected, you're going to just move this layer around. So this says control click, but I'm on a Mac, so we need a command click. And I'm going to hold command and I'm going to click around this whole thing. I want this area to be kind of big, so I'm going to make sure to select this whole area. This area will also be the area that you can actually like replace. And I'm not sure if you can really go outside the bounds of it, or at least you won't have any tracking information to warp there. So if you're intending to put something larger, you need to make sure to track a bigger area. So I'm going to click on here, even though I know we're going to need more points. I'm going to press to track, and you have to have this thing selected, so you can't do anything else, but it doesn't take that long. As you can see, it's pretty quick. I mean, I selected a short section, but it's really not that long, and it's done. I'm going to click this Interpolate Partial Tracks button, and then I'm going to auto-triangulate. I'm going to apply the mesh on this frame, and I don't know if there's a way to turn it off. I guess you can click here, click off, yeah. So now if you drag through, you can see how stable it is. Considering this footage is basically black, like really black, it's like in single-digit RGB numbers, this is pretty solid already. But it has a little bit of motion to it, so I'm going to add some more points. So to do that, I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go down to the bottom. I did not know this the first time, but there's a bunch of stuff down here that you can use, and Clear Mesh is one of them. So I'm going to go back up here now, and we're going to click some more points. So I'm going to add a bunch of things around here, especially because I know this is going to be a solid area for it to track. So I want it to be kind of dense here. Get one on all of these spots, and here and there and everywhere. Little tiny logo. I'm going to add some smaller areas here. You can see it's kind of density is built based on how small the window is that you drag to. So I'm going to add some more, just all over the place. Probably don't need this many, but I mean, it doesn't really seem to slow it down, which is kind of impressive. I don't know how that's possible, but it works really well. So I'm going to drag this in here, drag that in there. And again, like I was saying, I did have an issue when I first tried this one. I've tried this track once now. I initially tried to do it right off the cuff, but I accepted a track that wasn't really like absolutely perfect. And then I decided that I wanted to be a little bit better. And like I said, you end up with a bunch of different pre-comps if you try to do it over again. And that could just be me not knowing the proper way to deal with it. But to be honest, it's really easy to just start this thing over again. So, I mean, it's not that big a deal. There actually is a process for going back once you've locked down your comp. It's actually in Chris's tutorial, which I watched, so somehow I missed it. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, I'll leave a link to that with the time code in the description below. All right, so I'm going to track again. I'm going to click that. And you can see it's almost the same speed, which I don't even know how that's possible to have like 3 times the amount of points or more and still be pretty much the same speed, but there we go. Auto triangulate the mesh, apply it on this frame, click off, let's drag it through. I also wonder if I get more wobbling with more points. Maybe we'll compare that. Let's click here. We'll clear this mesh. Let's select all these points, and I'm going to Option click or Alt click. All right, so let's do that again real quick. I'm kind of curious. Let's just select this area. Do a little bit more around these. Maybe I put too many. Let's press to track. Take a sip of coffee. And that's done. All right, so auto triangulate, apply, click off. And it's still got some wobbly. All right, so let's take note of where it's actually going weird. So we got this point here is getting a little funky. The bottom of this eased keyframe is a little weird. Circle's not bad. The square has a little bit of motion to it, and so does the logo. So I'm gonna go down here, I'm gonna clear that mesh. I'm gonna add a point here, there. One in there, one in there. It's a little more sparingly in here. I'm gonna take this point away. Click that, click that, click that. Take that one away. Take that one away, take that one away. Add one here. There. I'll add a few into each one down here. Just to have some motion that's above the tops. And track again. More coffee. And there we are. I'm not speeding any of this up. I thought I would, but it's really not that bad. All right, then we are going to auto triangulate, apply, click off, see how we are. For my purposes, and considering this is pretty much black footage, I'm going to say that's pretty good. And we're going to accept it this time. So you can see I have interpolate partial tracks. We got that checked. We did these two things. And then we're going to return to lockdown script, which is number 8. And so then we're going to click lockdown on here, have this layer selected, click lockdown, and we're going to wait for the pop-up. There's the pop-up. Your clip is locked down. All right, so we're going to click that. And what did I forget to do? I forgot to turn off all the other stuff. So then we're going to click on here, and we're just going to turn these off. Click that. Boom, all of those guys. And I don't know that that actually shows up there because it's just a guide. No. Okay, it's still on there. Oh, it's on this one too. That's why. So we're going to close that. There we go. The bottom one, the other thing is a guide layer. And actually, that's kind of nice to keep that separate. So, all right. So I'm going to take this thing we got here. We got a little Glitch Lord sweetness thing here. I'm going to scale this guy down. And we'll apply a warp to it. Use just mesh warp. Warp is fine. To be honest, this thing is going to go this way. We're going to go down instead. All right. I'm going to fade this thing down so we can kind of see and match up and rotate it into place. It's not bad. Not bad.
So something I noticed while I was editing is that I did the warping before I put the glitches on for some stupid reason. The version that you've seen in the final is actually done properly with the warping at the end.
Then we hit G for Again tool. Bring this guy around here. Make sure we cover the original stuff there. Hit F, feather that guy out a little bit. T, bring this back. You can see the color is different here, so we are going to put a levels on this guy. We're going to make it darker. Let's see, 17. And this is 6, 5, and 0. Let's see, it gets as bright as 12, 7, and 6. In other words, this thing is pretty damn dark. It's almost not fair that I made it that dark.
I really intended to face the light more, but I didn't, and it still worked. It's amazing.
That's pretty good. Let's make sure that the red is just a little higher. Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty good as far as matching those two together. And let's go into here real quick and see kind of what that looks like. So I did stretch my shirt, and it's kind of hard again to see in here, I think. But I wonder if I brought this up in levels on this guy. We did. Oh, actually, I'm going to turn on this so you kind of get an idea of how it moves. We'll just set that to add temporarily. So that kind of... You can see where I didn't track as many things. It kind of moves, but I mean, to be honest, that's pretty damn stable especially again considering that this is single-digit black colors. So let me turn this back off, set that to normal. Again, look at this. 12, 6, and 3. This is how good this thing can track. So I'm going to glitch this thing. I only really need to do it to this particular section. I'm going to crop it to this, just so that I know for sure that's where I'm all at. All right. So this thing is going to glitch anyway, so I'm not too concerned about this track being 100% perfect. But again, like I said, if you actually used lights or anything, gave it any sort of chance, this thing would be pretty solidly locked on there. So first thing, I'm going to twirl this lockdown script back up. I'm going to put a levels on this thing. Maybe if I can actually spell it correctly. And I'm going to bring this up a little bit there, and not that, but I'm going to bring the brights down, because what person's shirt is really that bright? Not mine. We actually made these grays now a little too dark. They're way too dark. So I'm going to bring this back till we've kind of got it back into the match. Right around there. It's not too bad. We'd probably see this with a LUT. And actually, I haven't put one on here yet. So let's give that a shot. We'll add a new adjustment layer. Put Lumetri on this guy. And I will magically apply the look that I normally use. Boom. There it is. So you can kind of see where this is. We got an edge here. So I'm going to go back into this comp and then into this comp. And if I turn this off, let's see. That might actually work, because we don't really need that layer anymore. And in here, there we go. It's gone. Okay, so that feels better. We were just changing the dark box of the original shirt in the background. That's what was going on. That's what was going on. So let's glitch this thing off. We're going to go into the stabilize comp. I'm going to basically make this exact same thing here. We're going to duplicate it. And I am going to just fill this guy. I'm going to actually delete everything off of it. And then we're going to fill it with, let's turn that off for a second. We're going to click here and we're going to fill it just with this color that's the background for the original one. All right, this will be behind. So that way when this thing glitches away, it's just a black shirt as seen here. As seen on TV. All right, so we're going to click this. We're going to turn this top layer version back on. And now that we actually have that set this way, we could just dump the colors off of here. So all of that color correction I did was kind of useless, but let's do that. That's actually not a bad idea. Let's do set matte, and we'll set this to saturation. Oof. Okay, we'll set this thing to luminance. Nope. All right, so we're just going to dump that. I don't know why that's not working very well, but we're going to pick extract. And let's just drop out the bottom half of that until we start to lose any of our little pieces. Okay, although I don't mind it being a little grungier. We drag this out just so it's soft in case. And solo that. Cool. All right, we have our glitch lord. I'm going to tone this down. We're going to do maybe a fill, just to kind of make sure it's not a radioactive shirt. This is my normal color, CEOO. We're going to take this down somewhere like in maybe this region. Kind of feels like it still could be a shirt, I think. Check back real quick just to make sure. Yeah, that's like a shirt. It's got some lighting and whatever. Maybe we'll be fancy and we'll add a little pop of lighting in here just to sell it, right? So we're going to add a gradient ramp. Just the regular one here. I'm going to copy this color from the fill. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to put a start color, which is that color, but a little brighter to account for the lighting. And then the regular color that I had before. I'm going to take this guy as the start. Make sure that it's like over here. And this guy is the end. Boom. Very subtle. Very subtle. But it's a little brighter over here, and when we go back, you'll see that's like the light's hitting it. Beautiful. All right, go back here. Save. We should always do that. So then we're going to add a glitch here. Glitch. Glitchify. Boom. Thanks, Mikey. Click this guy over here. Glitchify amount. Boom. That's like perfect. That really works with this one, actually. So let's see. We're going to do amount there. We're going to keyframe it. Kind of hold keyframe that guy a little bit to like 0 or 10 or something, just so it goes a little nuts. Let's go to like 100. Boom. Back to like 20. Skip down 10 frames, go to like 80. Go to like 95. And go to like 15. 30. See what this looks like. I'm going to make a work area here. We're going to go there to there. Boom. See what it does. That should be kind of cool because hopefully those things will stick off the edge and it could be pretty neat. Let's also add on top of this thing a little RGB separation. Oops. Uni.RGB. There we go. It's quick menu case sensitive. It's kind of weird. Didn't know that. So we'll just set this to like 20. Yeah, there we go. And I think we'll do the same kind of deal here. We're going to hit that and we are going to go set that to a keyframe, hold keyframe. We'll do this in between. So this goes to like 0 here maybe and just back to normal. It can be kind of normal for a few frames and then go to like 10. Let's go to like 50 for like a frame or two. And then we'll go to like 25. Bring that back down. Here's good. I like that frame. We'll go down to 0. Go to 5. Just give it a little bit of something. 20. And 0. Because why not? All right. And it looks like that. I don't know what the deal is with the black bar, but that's okay. What is that? It's weird. That's weird. I don't know. Okay. And so there we are. But that's pretty cool. So I'm noticing we're getting this edge here. Now that we have that on there, let's get rid of this mask. Yeah, there we go. So now we have that, and it can be, it'll be a little blocky, but that's only how it's supposed to be, as far as the actual glitch goes. It's not artificially cut off or faded or anything. Oh, you. Sorry, I hit the button too quickly. I'm sorry. I should actually make this a shirt. Not one that actually glitches, but that would be cool. I have buttons. I do have buttons for this. I would say that moves pretty well, especially, again, tracked on damn near black.
So one major takeaway from this whole tutorial is that almost all of the tutorial was actually spent tweaking the look of something versus actually tracking.
All right, so then the last thing I'm going to do is go up here. I am going to actually brighten this up a smidge. In Lumetri here, we're going to go and we're going to bring the shadows up. Just a smidge. Even this a little bit, maybe. Nah, that's not too much. No, see, that actually shows you, though, how little information there actually is here. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing here. And still it was able to track it. So that's pretty nuts. Set this back down to 0, and then we're going to render it. And there you go. That's pretty nuts. On black. On freaking black. And just so you know how good it can be, here's another test from outside. All right, so I went outside. I shot a new piece of footage so we can give this thing a better chance. Now we are not in black. It might even be too exposed. So it was only me, and I wasn't using a monitor or anything. I just jumped in front of the camera. So let's click this thing. Let's apply lockdown. Make sure it's the effect. Not that it really matters, I guess, but... And then we're going to open up the lockdown window script. So I got that here. Got this thing selected, pre-compose. We're going to click and add that tracking filter. You can see we have a lot more contrast. You can actually see the texture of the shirt and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to move this out of the way. Go down here, click on lockdown, move this, and click in this window. We're going to command, click, and drag this area again. Let's add some extra points around here just so we have some additional stuff to track. This one should take a bit longer because we have 200 frames now instead of 40. I'm going to track a couple in between areas. There, and there. I have not tried this one out, so we'll see how it goes. Click. We're going to track these points. And this one I might speed up. And we're back. We're just about done. That didn't take too long, maybe a minute. Let's go through here, and we are going to interpolate partial tracks. Takes a second. We're going to auto triangulate. Takes a second. Apply mesh on this frame. I should have tracked a different frame, but I didn't. And you can see it's pretty solid. It gets a little weird here. Just had to add another point or two there probably. But I mean, look at that. You can see even the wrinkles in my shirt go through there. If I put something here, it would be stuck. That's freaking nuts, man. I mean, this part I like leave frame practically. So, that's why it loses it there. But that's, I mean, to give you an idea of what's going on in this shot, let's go back through this whole thing. We got to apply the mesh, we're stabilized, all that stuff. We're going to return to the script. We're going to hit lockdown, click this guy, lockdown, boom. That guy is locked down. Now, again, I forgot to turn the stuff off. We're going to go back in here real quick. I'm going to close the script off. Going to turn this guy to not have this stuff on. Go back into our pre-composed comp. Turn this stuff off. All right, to give you an idea of how much I moved, this is what I'm doing during that shot. You know those stretches? Yeah, that's where this part is. So if you go through and look at this whole thing, that's what's going on there. So if we actually drag something in here, like our Glitch Lord thing, put that on top. Let's scale this way the hell down. I'm just going to put this over here because this is the area that we know is completely solid. I'm going to just do this. Right? Let's just stick it on there like it's a sticker. Okay? We're going to click that, go back. Look how good that is. If that was like something that I actually stuck to my shirt, look how amazing. I'm moving all over the place. This is a track that took like 1 minute. And it warps with everything until I go nuts over here. I mean, it just like completely loses it because I moved pretty good. But that is nuts, man. And you could probably get that to work correctly. And if I had tracked that from the middle instead of the beginning where I'm side on to the camera, that would be even better.
So I basically threw everything that wouldn't work at this thing, an almost all black piece to track, a thing that's moving all over the place, and it still worked. This thing is mental. If you need tracking of this sort, especially if it's going to be things that are warping or whatever, you need to get this. It is amazing. Anyway, I hope you guys like this one. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe. And if you'd like to help support what we do, check out patreon.com/workbench. Make sure to keep up with the blog at workbench.tv. And as always, I'm Joe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.